So, Tom Deacon, firstly, do you have a degree from MIT?
No.
Ivy League University, Oxford or Cambridge?
There was one in the post, but it didn't arrive.
Is that the one you sent off for that you found on the internet?
It was a classic. They've put it behind the back gate, and then I think the neighbours had it.
Left it in your safe place. Because we might need it to try and work out some of these playoff shenanigans, right? One of the easier ones, though, is in the NFC and the final playoff spot up for grabs, essentially, in the NFC East winner, which should be Philly in principle because they beat the Cowboys last weekend. But it's not that simple because if Philly lose to the New York Giants and the Cowboys beat the Redskins, improbably, Tom Deacon, the Cowboys are making the playoffs.
I know, this doesn't seem fair. The fair is not a word you use with NFL matches all the time, but it is. The Eagles just have to go to the Giants and simply dispatch them at MetLife. But the other chance is, the Cowboys, you should look on paper and say they will beat the Redskins at home, and the Eagles could slip up, but the Eagles look so good. They really nullified Dak Prescott and his passing game last week. So, it's all to play for. The Eagles just lose. Cowboys could do it. But then an 8-8 team, that doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem right.
I wonder if that will change, whether they will look at... I'm not sure they will. I think divisional winners are going to get a playoff spot, whatever. Whether they allow that to impact the seedings, they'll look at that in the offseason. I don't know.
Nat, it's not broke. Don't fix it.
It ain't broke,
it's not fair. Life ain't fair.
I like the idea of either Doug Peterson or Jason Garrett just say, it's not fair.
Yeah. And the commissioner's like, it's a good point. You make a good point.
Very good point. The Eagles banged up. They were against, had me for a while, they were against the Cowboys. Didn't seem to matter, particularly offensively. Add Zach Ertz to that mix. He, in the game, sustained a rib injury, and so he's going to... Zach Ertz is a tough customer, so he'll probably suit up. But how much impact that's going to have? He didn't practice on Wednesday. Fletcher Cox, Jalen Mills as well, defensively. So it's a banged-up Philly side here.
It is a banged-up Philly side. Jim Schwartz has done an incredible job defensively nullifying the Cowboys. But they have brought up Richard Rodgers, a draft pick by the Packers. He scored 13 touchdowns in his career. That was back in 2014. He's over his career. But Dallas Goedert did the job. So maybe Zach Ertz isn't going to play, but they still think they've got enough firepower. And yet all season the Eagles... who's going to catch the ball? That's been a main problem for the Eagles. Please, one of you, Jeffrey,
Carson Wentz just does that.
Please catch it.
Throws it up and catches it himself.
And even J-Train came back to try and get that offense right.
Yeah, they cut J-Train. That's disappointing. So the Giants, conversely, are looking stronger than ever, really, offensively this season, relatively speaking. And I think I kind of misspoke on the show last week with Carlson in the house. I was saying, well, you can't judge Daniel Jones's rookie season too negatively when you consider the limited receiving options he's had, but actually ending the season, there's quite a lot around him now, isn't there? He's got quite a decent receiving core.
Yeah, Slayton's come out of, you wouldn't say nowhere, but he's had a fantastic year. 8 touchdowns this year. No fantasy points last week. Did hurt, but still won.
Did matter. Still won, though.
Still won. So just to bring it up again. But yeah, and Barkley has had one of those seasons where we thought he was going to be even better. Still a decent year for him. And Danny Dimes has had to, I think he's given confidence to the Giants team. Yeah. Have they got a good offensive weapons there? I don't think they've got the best weapons they could have. However, it's strength to rebuild for next year and get a few more players in.
Definitely a dangerous proposition when you weigh that up. So you can see a Giants win. It wouldn't surprise you if the Giants acted as a spoiler here. So let's look at Redskins Cowboys and work out the probability of who is going to equal. Because this is in Arlington. There's no Dwayne Haskins, of course. Case Keenum back. Last time these two met earlier in the season, Case Keenum was the quarterback and put up some points, of course, against the Cowboys. And you think conceivably could do that again. This Cowboys offense is baffling, completely nullified, as you say, and not at the races against Philly. Now, Dak Prescott's shoulder injury was significant in that fact. He was gutsy and he was trying to get it done, but he was just receivers weren't helping him, dropping balls left, right, and centre, but he was mistiming throws as well.
I heard somewhere that Amari Cooper's in witness protection somewhere.
Where is Amari Cooper? Do you know? I thought he might be on the show later on. That was your Christmas present to us. I mean, there was that bizarre situation with Amari Cooper and, with Jason Garrett with a deadpan face saying, we just thought tactically we were going to mix him up with Tavon Austin. Like, come on, who are you talking?
Amari Cooper, we know how good he is when Dak Prescott can get him the ball. He's put up, yardage this year. I wouldn't say that Amari Cooper's inconsistent, but just at least give him a chance to catch the football, try and throw that ball. However, if the Cowboys run with Zeke, they're 5-1 if he has over 100 yards. So rest that shoulder, Dak.
Yeah.
Just give Zeke the ball and try and get the job done.
I think they'll get it done. I mean, I think the Cowboys, I don't know if they'll cover the spread and they'll run away with the game, no pun intended, but I think they'll get the job done against Washington. So they could still squeak in. Let's just say they do that. Let's just say the Giants do them a favor. And that is a horrible spot for the Giants to be in, right? And they can act as spoiler for the Eagles, but they help the Cowboys, right? So that's a place that no Giants fan really wants to be. But let's say it happens. Let's say Giants get the win in Jersey, and the Cowboys beat the Redskins. The Cowboys make the playoffs, and then the Cowboys win the wild card round, get into the divisional round. Maybe. Just stay with me. If they suddenly get some momentum going and find themselves in the championship game.
Yeah.
They're in the NFC Championship game.
They're a talented team. They're a talented team.
It could happen. Is Jerry Jones got to keep Jason Garrett if they get to the championship game?
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? But if you get to the championship game, there's enough talent on this roster. Even with Jason Witten, their historic tight end comes back for them. I think that they have to. They don't necessarily believe in Jason Garrett, but he's getting them across the line. That's all that Jerry Jones wants, is a winning team.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to get in a few other coaches for next year, potentially. That's not to say they don't go on and win the Super Bowl. Do I think it's likely? No. But if it happens, Jason Garrett will not be going anywhere. He can't, because he's bringing Jerry Jones success, not the way that Jerry Jones wants it, but as a talented team, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went that far.
Whoever wins it gets a home field game, right? They will play either the 49ers or the Seahawks at home in the wild card round.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. But they've got, as I keep saying, they've got talent offensively. For whatever reason, it hasn't clicked at times. And defensively, they haven't been as good as last year. But, they've got a chance to prove. Don't rest on these Cowboys. And they've been very entertaining for an 8-8 team, potentially.
Very watchable. Okay, so who's going to make it? Eagles or Cowboys?
Do you know what? The Giants are going to give those Eagles a run for the money. Yeah. Back in Week 14, it was 23-17, overtime touchdown. Giants still had them, but I still think the Eagles will have enough momentum from that win against the Cowboys to get the job done, and then it doesn't matter what happens with the Cowboys.
So I disagree. I think the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys make it. I think the Giants beat the Eagles, and I think the Cowboys get it done against Washington.
You just want to see, Jason Garrett in a job. That's all it is.
How good would the America's game be if Dallas win the Super Bowl? Jerry Jones. All the quotes of, I'm sure I'll be coaching in the NFL somewhere next year.
Yeah. Mediocrity gets you over the line. It's not fair.
Best America's game ever.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. Hope you enjoyed the Nat Coombs Show presented by Paddy Power Fantasy. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click subscribe to ESPN UK and you won't miss a trick.